Hello, ladies and gentlemen.
And everything in between, and welcome to a Drew and Davey talk about Lord of the Rings and The Hobbit.
And The Hobbit Extended Editions.
Yeah, recently we sat down over Thanksgiving break and had like a Tolkien marathon.
Tolkien.
Yeah, we took all the extended editions of Lord of the Rings.
Watched them.
Then we took all the extended editions of The Hobbit.
Watched them.
And by the end, I felt more broken inside than I already am.
I felt... I'm not sure how I felt, because we'll get... Well, I don't want to talk about it yet, but it kind of goes into this conversation.
Yeah.
I'll just go ahead and say first, Battle of Five Armies Extended Edition is rated R, and it's awesome. We'll get to it. It'll be towards the end.
So good. But
it's treating me very right.
Let's it treats all the parts of you with the proper amounts of attention and caressing.
So much caressing.
Yeah.
With blades.
Yeah. It's good.
So
and so stupid.
Starting off, we had a bunch of other people who kind of came and went.
Yeah.
And they were saying that we should watch The Hobbit first for the extended edition, so we could stay up and watch all of them. I made the executive vote, as I was the one putting them in the discs, putting the discs in. I put in Lord of the Rings first.
Yeah.
Because I knew the Hobbits were a lot more action-packed, and if we watched the Hobbits first and then went into Fellowship of the Ring at like 11 o'clock at night, we weren't going to make it.
Yeah, that's for even so, we kind of dozed off during...
Well, we would have missed all of Fellowship.
Unexpected journey. Yeah, we would have missed all of Fellowship.
Which would have been a damn shame, because we would have fallen asleep and disc one would have ended.
Yeah, and then we would have woken up and it would have been just like... We missed all the time. But,
where did the time go?
We started with Lord of the Rings. And we've seen them before.
Because, before The Hobbit started to come out, AMC was like, hey, we're going to do all of the Lord of the Rings Extended Edition. And that was the first time I was going to see them extended in theaters.
And it was the first time I had seen The Two Towers all the way through.
Oh.
Yeah, you knew when it was when we were seeing it.
I don't remember that now,
but it was a really fun experience that day, because like if you
Davey had to pee 30 minutes into Return of the King Extended Edition.
Yeah.
His bladder exploded.
Because that movie's 4 hours long. And by the end, I'm just like, it's such a burden. Drew, it's such a burden.
I know it's a burden, Davey, and I can't carry it for you. I'm sure as hell not carrying you.
So I hobbled to the bathroom and peed for 5 minutes.
He's not kidding. Like, everyone was giving a standing ovation. Davey went to give it. He's like, no! Oh, God! He was in so much pain.
Hurt the bladder very bad.
That everyone was leaving. Davey still couldn't get up, so all 8 of us had to get him up, and he literally, like, Igor hobbled, holding on to his kidney stones, running down the hallway. He was in there for, like, probably about 5 minutes, and then we left the theater. Yeah. Like, we came out of the theater and started standing outside the bathrooms. Davey comes out. Oh!
Nothing defines doing what is necessary.
Release the river!
Yeah.
That's basically what you did.
I had to pee during that part, too.
You poor river of a man.
Yeah, I was a mess.
So I guess we should talk about these movies in order.
Yeah,
since we actually watched them in order.
Yeah, we
Fellowship.
Start with Fellowship. Fellowship. I think Fellowship is my second to least favorite of the all 6.
Really? Second to least?
Yeah. And like I know it's like one of your favies.
Yeah.
I know it's your favy, baby, because you love the exposition and all that.
I love the Shire.
Yeah.
So much.
Mm-hmm.
Like when I grow up and I'm a real boy, I am so going to move out into basically the middle of nowhere with a hill. I'm going to plant a tree, and I'm going to build a hobbit hole in that hill to live in, because it can be my own little shire, and I will name that plot of land the Shire, or Bad Yend, or Hobbiton, one of them, and that will be my house for forever. But also, like, it's also a very practical house. Like, not a lot of people know this, but the in-ground houses, like, are the best because if you build it right, they won't flood.
Yeah.
So, and like the rain will just fall off and go wherever. But it also like reduces your heating and cooling bills because you're underground.
Yeah.
And that's really nice.
Yeah.
So not only do I get to live out my dream of like living as a Tolkien character, but I also have like a good cheap life.
Yeah.
And I will sit on my porch in my garden and smoke weed every day.
Smoke weed every day.
Basically.
But
if things go, we can just grow it and it'll be legal.
yeah.
I will totally name my own pipe weed. Oh God, what's it? That's the Buckleberry? Buckleberry Fairy.
Yeah.
I forget the really good weed in the Shire.
The real good pipe weed.
Yeah. I mean, it's basically weed. You saw the face on Ian Holmes' face.
Yeah, I remember.
Of course, he's always like that.
Today's my
He's always hot.
111th birthday.
Hey!
They're all so drunk.
So drunk, but so cheery folk.
Yeah.
And I love the spirit that Peter Jackson gives in these movies.
Yeah.
Like the spirit of Tolkien. Because this was like his favorite book as a child. For Jackson growing up. So he wanted to do everything right to this book.
Yeah.
To this movie, rather. For Tolkien. And I love it so much.
Yeah.
So I know it's like one of your least favorites because it's exposition.
It's too much.
But that's also Tolkien.
I know.
And
I understand that, and like you have just a Tolkien boner the size of that staff back there.
Yeah.
Like you're.
I love Middle Earth.
Yeah, and I too love Middle Earth, but I get it. Like they're halfway through Fellowship every time I watch it, and I watch it a lot because it is an excellent movie.
The Lord of the Rings are amazing films.
They're all really good movies.
They're not just good fantasy movies; they're just good movies.
But like about halfway through that movie, every time I'm just like, I got it.
Halfway through, you're like, hey, the Council of Elrond has happened. Now the movie can begin. now the quest has started.
Yeah, and I'm like, all right, get it. Let's go. Come on.
Come on, buddy. Come on, buddy. Come on, buddy.
Here we go.
But the first disc is basically that we're in the Shire forever.
Yeah.
And then Bilbo leaves, and Frodo discovers it, and we have Gandalf go out for a bit, terrify us with the wide-angle shots, because this movie was like towards the end of the wide-angle lens shots,
Yeah.
which were happening all the time.
Yeah.
And it's terrifying to sit there and count. Oh shit! What's his name? I'm having a mind blank. To count Gandalf's wrinkles whenever the shot is. Is it secret? Is it safe?
Yeah.
I don't,
Ian McKellen was
Ian
the
McKellen.
word you're looking for.
I love that man, but I just had a brain fart.
Yeah.
But I don't want to sit there and count all of his goddamn wrinkles.
No, it's not like it's a Hobbit movie. You count more wrinkles than that.
He's older than that.
Yeah.
But the camera's not as close.
Exactly. They knew.
48 frames, maybe. 48 frames.
48 frames.
So, and then, like, we have Frodo begin to leave with Sam because Sam decided to listen in.
Yeah.
We journey through the Shire. We see pretty New Zealand shots, but not quite the pretty New Zealand shots.
So many pretty New Zealand shots in these movies.
And so, well, you know the story.
Yeah.
I mean, there's not a lot that happens here in the beginning.
Yeah.
We see
Which
the
is
Nazgul
why I'm
scare the shit
just
out
a
of us.
little bit
Yeah.
with that
I
movie.
get that. Like, the only issue that I have with this, like, part one, because the extended editions, they were so long that they needed to split the discs up. Like, all the movies are in 2 parts.
But you don't have to do that with a Blu-ray.
Well, when they first did the big extendeds,
I know. They did it on DVDs.
Mm-hmm.
And
it was normal.
You had to do that.
Yeah.
Like, you had to do that because it was just too big.
But then the Blu-rays came along, and they needed
did
to do
the
it.
same thing.
They needed to do it because they had so many special features.
They had all those on other discs.
Oh, they had
Not all of them, but like
They had them on, I believe the regular discs, and then they had them in other discs as well.
I don't know.
I think, but anyways, we had to switch discs around, and so like the first one ends with the Council of Elrond, which is a great stop.
Yeah. I think the best stop of all of those movies.
Besides the ends of the movies.
Yeah. Really. The best like intermission starting point.
Yeah, which kind of gave us a chance to like get up and stretch,
And
even though these were like the first movies.
And pee.
We don't need that.
Pee.
you need that.
I need that.
You should have that checked.
Desperately.
And then we get like the actual story going along. The extended scenes in Fellowship were a little bit more subtle.
Yeah.
Like there weren't like big ones. Mm-mm. Like there was more of the Bilbo's party, which I love. Like one of the funniest jokes in all of the movies is this one woman walks up to Bilbo, she says hello, and he's like, "Oh, how are you?" And then like there are like 17 kids that run by, and she's like, "Oh, they're all mine." "Oh, those are my kids." And Bilbo, like, without looking at the camera, he just kind of looks as all the children go by and go, "My, you've been productive." I lose it every time during that part because it just gives a feel to everything. Mm-hmm. And like there's little scenes like whenever they're leaving Rivendell, they start heading out the gates, and Frodo gets to like the exit of Rivendell, and he's like, "Gandalf, which way do I go?" "Right." And so because Frodo has no idea what he's doing.
Yeah.
And like there's more in Lothlorien with Galadriel.
Lady Galadriel.
With Lady Galadriel. And
Kate Blanchett.
And there's actually the gift scenes, which we don't really see in the theatrical release besides getting the light.
And then they mentioned those things in Two Towers, and you didn't know anything about it.
Yeah.
It's like,